Housing affordability is at all-time historical lows and it's not getting any easier. So if you want to help your kids get onto the property market, I've got 3 ways that you can make this happen easier for them. So first up, to buy a property, there are 2 things that you need. One is that you either need a deposit or you need equity that you can borrow against to get your deposit. And the second is that you need to have the cash flow or the ability to actually fund the mortgage payments on that property. So the simple ways that you can help get this set up for your kids is to start saving for them. If you were to save $100 per week, by the time your kids are 18, that gives them about $100,000, which should be close to enough to get a property deposit together. If you then invest the money into some ETFs or shares or micro investing, then that should help it to grow faster. And if you use an investment bond, then you can cut the tax bill on that investment income, meaning that it will grow even faster again. That way your kids have got a good chunk of change that they can then use to fund the property deposit right off into the sunset, happy days. The other way that you can purchase a property for your kids or help them to purchase a property is that you can buy your own property where you can get the value of that property growing and therefore the equity growing, so that in the future you can borrow against the equity or they can borrow against the equity, meaning that they can fund their deposit that way. That way you're doing it without having to find extra cash to save for them. Now, if you're in a comfortable position and you've got enough spare cash flow that you could invest a little bit more, you could aim to fund both the property deposit that they'll need to purchase a property and have enough investments left over to give them some income that they can then use to fund the shortfall between how much money they're going to get in rent on this property versus how much the mortgage payments are going to be. If you do that, it's an ideal scenario for them in that they end up with enough cash to go and buy the property and borrow, and enough investments to cover the cost, meaning that it doesn't cost them a single dollar to run that property for the decades to come and benefit from the growth that comes along with it. Each of those 3 ways have their pros and cons, but each of them can definitely work. So if you want to get this happening for your kids, think about what works best for you and take the action needed to make it happen.